In this edition of That's Not Bible, we're going to look at a popular practice among charismatic churches, and that is speaking in tongues. In 1 Corinthians 12, Paul listed 9 miraculous gifts that existed in the early church, including tongues, verse 10. These tongues were not some ecstatic utterance or gibberish. They were known languages that conveyed rational thought. In fact, several translations say languages instead of tongues, like the TLB. It reads, and I quote, "Still another person is able to speak in languages he never learned," end quote. That is precisely the point. The gift of tongues allowed the speaker to communicate in languages he did not know. Suddenly, and without any prior study, he was bilingual. It was nothing like the incoherent babbling you see taking place today. Consider this. Acts 2 verse 4 says the apostles began to speak in other tongues. And verse 6 says, each one was hearing them speak in their own language. Hence, tongues were known languages. Moreover, tongue speaking was regulated in the assembly. There were restrictions put in place concerning how they were to be exercised. In 1 Corinthians 14, verses 27 and 28, Paul said no more than 2 or 3 could speak in the assembly. They had to take turns. They had to have an interpreter. And verse 34 adds, the women must remain silent. Now let me ask you, do tongue-speaking churches today follow these rules? Do they limit it to 2 or 3? Do those 2 or 3 take turns? Do they have an interpreter? Do they make their women remain quiet? They claim to be led by the Spirit, and yet they violate what the Spirit said. This exposes charismatic tongue-speaking.